Project 613, day 159. Sacrifice. Offering animals as a sacrifice to God is one of the oldest ways of connecting to God. Adam offered sacrifices. Noah offered sacrifices after the flood. Our forefathers offered sacrifices. And when God took the Jewish people out of Egypt and commanded us to build a sanctuary, a mishkan, a tabernacle in the desert, a space where God can be revealed, God said that in that space, that's where you're going to offer sacrifices. And ultimately, when you come into the land of Israel, to Jerusalem, and build a holy temple, the main purpose of the holy temple is in order for Jews to be able to offer sacrifices to God on the altar in the holy temple. The Torah introduces the concept of sacrifice in the book of Leviticus with the following words: Adam ki yakriv mikem karbon laHashem. A person who would like to offer a sacrifice to God. But if you take the words and translate them specifically and literally in the order that they are said, here's what you are going to find. A person who would like to offer from you a sacrifice. It should really have said a person from you who would like to offer a sacrifice. Why is the word from you come after the words would like to offer? The Hebrew word yakriv also means karov, which means to come close. And the verse is telling us that if a person wants to come close to God, what they really need to sacrifice is themselves. The sacrifice that was offered in the holy temple, that was a specific mitzvah, and this was a very important action that has to be done in a very specific place and a very specific time. But its impact was on our own understanding of ourselves, that we are bringing ourselves to God. We are, for example, when you take a sacrifice and you sprinkle the blood on the altar, this represents the idea that we are taking our passions and focusing it on God. There are different types of sacrifices described in the Torah. The first one is the karban oila, the burnt offering. If someone made a commitment to bring a karban oila to God, it was slaughtered in the temple, its blood was sprinkled on the altar, and then the entire animal was offered on the fires of the altar. All of it was burned for God. That's the positive commandment of the karban oila, of the burnt offering. And there is a negative commandment, the prohibition of eating any part of the karban oila of the burnt offering, because all of it was given to God. It was burnt on the altar. The next mitzvah we learned today is about the karban chatos, the sin offering. There's a long list of specific sins in the Torah that if someone violates those sins, they have an obligation to bring a sacrifice, and the procedure of the sacrifice included sprinkling his blood on the altar, taking certain fats and meat and bringing it onto the altar, and the rest of it was eaten by the kohanim, by the priests that were serving in the temple that day. Thank you all for watching. More tomorrow.